Get ready for some major roster drama because the Atlanta Braves immediately faced punishment after a recent trade and roster shuffle. We dive into the details of how the Braves handled the situation involving Sean Murphy and the subsequent roster adjustments that shook up the team's plans for the season.
Stop using your finger for notes, sketches, and edits. This Jam Jake stylus pen gives your iPad a smoother, more precise writing feel with palm rejection so your hand can rest naturally on the screen. It charges fast, works for hours, and comes with replacement tips. Perfect for school, work, or creative projects. Check the link in the comments to grab it on Amazon.
Next up, we look at the surprising return of Braves catcher Sean Murphy to the injured list just 8 days after he was activated. We break down exactly what happened with that fractured finger, the catcher's interference play that caused it, and the major moves the Braves had to make to replace him. Now, we explore the fallout from that injury, focusing on the big changes, how Sandy León stepped up to back up Drake Baldwin, and the exciting return of outfielder José Azocar to the Major League roster. We also see the corresponding move for infielder Jim Jarvis. Finally, we wrap up this massive flurry of moves as the Atlanta Braves prepare for their tough series against the Cubs. We cover the full picture of Sean Murphy's status, the return of Ha-Seong Kim, and what this means for the team's depth, so stick around for the full breakdown. Noi Dung Kai Tight. The Atlanta Braves faced immediate repercussions following a recent roster shuffle and injury, despite being close to achieving full strength. The team had successfully activated Sean Murphy from the injured list after recovering from hip surgery, and both Spencer Strider and Ha-Seong Kim had returned from their respective ailments. Furthermore, Raisel Iglesias was also cleared from the IL after an issue with his shoulder. Fans were primarily anticipating the return of Ronald Acuña Jr. when a subsequent injury complicated the plans. /and concerns had been raised regarding Murphy potentially needing to return to the IL this week. Although initial X-rays were negative, the Braves remained cautious after Murphy was hit on the hand by Ha-Seong Kim's bat during a catcher's interference call, which kept the possibility of him being placed on the IL open. And this scenario materialized as Murphy was subsequently placed on the injured list with a fractured middle finger. This move necessitated the team bringing back Sandy León, as they had previously traded Jonah Heim once Murphy returned. Additionally, the Braves called up recently re-signed José Azocar and sent Jim Jarvis back to AAA Gwinnett ahead of a challenging series against the Cubs. And today, the Braves signed free agent C. Sandy León to a Major League contract and placed C. Sean Murphy on the 10-day injured list, backdated to May 11, citing a fractured left middle finger. The organization also selected of José Azocar to the Major League roster after optioning INF Jim Jarvis. /N, the roster moves also prompted some scrutiny. Bringing back Azocar was somewhat unexpected given that center fielder Michael Harris II is dealing with a quad injury. For the immediate future, Harris II is being viewed as an insurance policy for an important series, and Jarvis appeared to be redundant on the roster at that time. /N regarding Murphy's injury, the situation highlights the limitations of initial X-rays for hand and finger injuries, as these bones are small and difficult to visualize. While the lack of immediate news of surgery was somewhat encouraging, further information is required to determine Murphy's timeline for return. /N, the Braves have been fortunate to secure a catcher familiar with Sandy León. While the loss of Heim may have been unavoidable, losing him from the team altogether following a trade created a significant third catcher challenge. Currently, Drake Baldwin is expected to handle the majority of the catching duties, while Murphy is sidelined, with León providing support as needed. Atlanta Braves catcher Sean Murphy has been placed back on the 10-day injured list, 8 days after being activated from the injured list. Murphy sustained a fractured left middle finger during a game against the Dodgers on Sunday, resulting from a catcher's interference when he was hit on the glove by a swing from shortstop Ha-Seong Kim. Murphy had initially begun the season on the injured list while recovering from hip surgery to repair a labral tear in his right hip, and he was activated on May 4th. His latest injury marks a setback in his recovery. In response to Murphy's return to the injured list, the Braves made strategic moves to bolster their catching depth behind starter Drake Baldwin. The team traded backup catcher Jonah Heim to the Atlanta Braves last week after designating him for assignment upon Murphy's return. To address the need for another backup, the Braves signed veteran Sandy León to a major league deal. This marks León's second stint with the team, as he had previously been released on April 22 to pursue opportunities in the Mexican League. In other roster updates, outfielder José Azocar has returned to Atlanta from Gwinnett after clearing waivers and signing a minor league deal before being added to the major league roster on Tuesday. Infielder Jim Jarvis was optioned in his place. The Atlanta Braves have made several significant roster moves, including placing catcher Sean Murphy on the 10-day injured list with a fractured left middle finger, while bringing back veteran Sandy León and outfielder José Azocar. The injury to Murphy came after a game-ending interference play in the Dodgers series finale on Sunday, resulting in a fracture. Murphy has been on the 10-day IL backdated to May 12. In a move mirroring previous situations, veteran Sandy León will step in to back up Drake Baldwin. León's return follows his release on April 22 to pursue opportunities in the Mexican League with the Serapros de Saltillo. The Braves opted for the veteran presence over AAA options Chadwick Tromp and Jair Camargo. Outfielder José Azocar is also back with the Major League club after being designated for assignment on May 6, electing free agency on May 8, and signing a new minor league contract on May 11. Azocar will fill the fourth outfielder pinch runner role. Additionally, Jim Jarvis has been optioned back to AAA Gwinnett. The Atlanta Braves have weathered a flurry of roster moves ahead of their series against the Chicago Cubs, notably placing veteran catcher Sean Murphy on the 10-day injured list with a left finger fracture, backdated to May 11th. This move follows a recent recovery from a hip injury, where Murphy last played on Sunday, with Dominic Smith stepping in for him in the 9th inning and Drake Baldwin handling the final 3 outs. Murphy's brief return saw him record 1 hit in 14 at-bats with 6 strikeouts. In terms of offensive and defensive adjustments, the team has made several shifts. With Jonah Heim moving to the Athletics, the Braves have brought Sandy León back to the Major League roster on a Major League contract, following his recent release for playing in Mexico. Shortstop Jim Jarvis has been optioned back to AAA to make room for José Azocar, who was selected to the Major League roster. Azocar was brought up initially following Ronald Acuña Jr.'s hamstring injury, but was later designated for assignment to facilitate the swap with Jarvis. Meanwhile, the Braves addressed depth concerns by placing Eli White on the 7-day concussion injured list, leading them to bring in another outfielder to maintain positional depth. On the positive health front, shortstop Ha-Seong Kim was activated on Monday and is expected to return on Tuesday, marking his 2026 debut. The Braves begin their 3-game home series against the Cubs on Tuesday, with Grant Holmes scheduled to pitch the first at 7:15 p.m.